Music is a language. How many times did we hear this from our greats, our legends, our teachers, our peers? But have you ever thought about what it really means? In this video, I'm going to attempt to present you a perspective which may prove to you that it's not only true that music indeed functions as a language, but it's really worth thinking about it that way in our musical endeavor. Although science long has proven that there is a literal connection between language and music in the human brain, with CAT scans showing that, when somebody is trying to talk or dissect a piece of written material and or listening to music, the same area of the brain is being activated, give or take. But here's some tangible proof that indeed the inner mechanics of music and language are the same. Just think about it this way. What happens when you talk to somebody? Your mouth is moving, your lungs create some air pressure, right? And you basically, with your organs, you create some sort of sounds, right? Which the other one understands, hopefully. If it's gibberish language, it makes no sense. You're still making sounds with your mouth, right? But nobody understands. So what is the real difference between gibberish and a language? Well, actually, they are both just sounds, but a language is different because the sounds are presented in an organized fashion. Plus, the one you're talking to has the code system in his or her brain, so is able to understand that particular order of sounds, right? And similarly, the difference between music and noise is the same. The organized manner in which the sounds are presented to you, and it is intelligible. Because you can have musical instruments around you and still make no sense. Now, all this might be really interesting to think about, but is there any practical benefit of understanding this? And I propose to you that there is. It has several advantages if you think about music as a language, or if you understand the connection. And I'm going to start with a very basic one, and that is if you are a beginner or someone who's considering getting into music or learning an instrument, I propose you this. If you have second thoughts about it, if you're afraid of it, well, you really shouldn't be, because once you understand that music is a language, right? It's just an organized set of sounds, really. You must realize that you mastered one, at least one already. You speak one language, your mother tongue at least, or more, right? So you were able to master that, which means you can master music as well. It's really just, it's different tools, but it's just sounds at the right time and in the right place. I hear a lot of worries from people that, oh, I'm not talented enough, you really must be born to do this. I think none of it is true, really. Thinking about music as a language and realizing that, oh, I learned some languages before and I'm able to use them, should prove these ideas wrong. Another benefit of thinking about music as a language is that with this, you will be able to sort of craft your own method of learning it, just as you probably have done it with a language before. Or at least you've been taught a language before and you know that there's grammar, you know that there's a written form to it, you know that there's an alphabet and all those vocabulary elements you need to master. But you also know that, of course, eventually you will have to go out and talk to people, otherwise it's going to be a dead knowledge, so to speak. But nevertheless, there's a multi-layered journey of complexity through which you learn a language, and that's true for music also, similarly. And I think understanding the connection between language and music can help you carve out at least a rough path, break down that huge leap into smaller steps, which you can follow, and it can make your journey a hell of a lot easier. So for instance, if you think about language, you would first learn probably the alphabet, pronunciation, some vocabulary, words, and then a little bit more complex things, grammar and example sentences, right? And eventually you would have to speak on your own, go out and meet people and talk to them, which leads us to the last complexity layer, of course, and that is improvisation. While I'm talking to you right now, I'm improvising English language and improvising music, well, not only jazz music, any music as a matter of fact, is practically speaking a language, just like right now I am doing it. I must say that this concept, this understanding has helped me on my journey greatly, and I absolutely recommend everybody who's not familiar with this idea to ponder upon it, see if it makes sense to you on any level, and maybe try to reorganize your strategies and approach to learning music accordingly. Frankly speaking, I built up my whole method around it, which I'm following and teaching to people up till today. If I want to learn a new concept, I like to create my own exercises for it and basically chop them up into 3 layers of complexity. One is warm-up exercise-like things, that's the practical alphabet of the concept. Non-creative exercises, which would be more complex examples of the same, the example sentences, if you will. And then finally, creative exercises, which usually have to do with improvisation, and that's like speaking freely, but within the framework of that very concept, and this is very important. So I limit myself to just play around with that one thing. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. I hope that these concepts will be beneficial to you and for the very least interesting. Keep on hitting things.